Hi guys, welcome to my channel Techie Kumar. So in the last 4 videos of this tutorial, we discussed about Docker component. We covered 4 components of Docker. We discussed about Docker container, Docker image, Docker registry, Docker client and server. Now, today we are going to talk about Docker architecture. The reason behind learning Docker components before learning the Docker architecture is that it will help you to understand the Docker architecture in a quick or easy way. Since we have learned these things separately, you can be able to understand the Docker architecture in a very simpler way. I have made video for each components, so please go and watch those videos if you have not watched yet. If you are directly jumping to this video, you may not able to understand all the concepts that we have discussed so far. So I would highly recommend go back and watch those videos and come back. Now let's start talking about Docker architecture. So let me open that slide. So this is the Docker architecture. So let me grab the pen. We are good here. So now, so far we have discussed about client and server. We have discussed about containers. We have also discussed about images, right? We have also discussed about images and registry as well. So Docker consists of basically 4 components, including registry, right? So here REST client. If we talk about the REST client, that we discussed in the last video where we discussed about the client and server. Using REST client, we can perform all the operations that can be done from the command line interface. Because Docker is a client server architecture, that's the reason we can use REST clients to communicate with Docker server. This Docker daemon. So whenever Docker application starts, it starts one Docker daemon which act as a server. It accepts all the requests receiving from clients or Docker client and process them as per their request and then return the output. Docker daemon is responsible for creating containers and managing images and also post them to the respective repositories. So here you can see that I have mentioned about the registry here. So in registry there could be a chances we are using Docker Hub or we may use private registries. These are nothing but these are the images of Tomcat, Java 8 and Nginx. Now if we talk about this section, these are the containers that we create when we have the images. So these containers have their own boundaries, means anything running inside these containers are independent from another container until unless we call them or we use them for our purpose. So now this Docker daemon is running on your Docker on your host. So whenever we install Docker engine or on our desktop or a server, we start a Docker daemon and that Docker daemon act as a server. If we talk about the Docker client, so you can see I have mentioned few commands here, like these are the commands like build, pull and image. So these things can be done using the REST client as well. We can also build image, delete image, or we can pull. We can do all the steps that can be done from client. We can do the same thing from REST client. Okay, so now you can see like how easy it is to understand the Docker architecture. If I would have directly discussed about this Docker architecture when you had not idea about the containers and images, then it would have been difficult for you to understand the concept. So now it is very straightforward, like Docker architecture having a Docker host where Docker daemon is running, and this Docker daemon is responding to its clients. Client may be Docker CLI, client may be command line interface, or it may be REST clients like Postman or Insomnia or some other softwares, right? And they can make request to Docker daemon, and Docker daemon will process those requests. And I repeat about this Docker daemon, that Docker daemon is responsible uh, for maintaining containers, creating images, and pull or push images from and to registries. Now the question is, what is Docker daemon? So Docker daemon is a process which runs on your system when you install a Docker engine. So I hope it's clear. As we have learned these things separately in a video, that's why I believe now it is very easy to understand about the Docker architecture. That's it for this video. I hope you liked it. If you really liked it, please hit the like button and don't forget to subscribe my channel if you have not subscribed it. Thank you so much once again.